What's up everyone, it's Endymion, and recently I've been covering a weird resurgence of information surrounding the various Hollywood elites in the world. At the heart of this exposure is the film Sound of Freedom, which is now becoming a cultural phenomenon that's opening the eyes of the public to the darkness surrounding them. Beyond this was the discovery of Mel Gibson himself being integral to the continued fight against child exploitation, and how his next project with Tim Ballard will expose Hollywood even further. Also, near the end of this video, I will play you a trailer for an upcoming film about child exploitation called Dream. It's an independent movie being made by a young man named Ben Pauling. So please watch until the end so you can view that trailer as well, since that movie is looking for funding, and I'll be leaving links in the description for it below and the pinned comment. And before you ask, no, I'm not being supported or sponsored by that movie, nor did I ask for any money in order to promote it. I simply think exploiting kids is wrong and I want to bring awareness to it. Ben simply reached out to me via DM and I expressed my willingness to broaden the film's exposure, so that's what I'll do. Also, there's been a resurgence of Oprah Winfrey clips and information going around the internet as well, and how she endorsed a healer that is now being exposed as one of the most horrific people in modern society. That story will be later on, but man is it dark. So in this video, I want to speak about that as well as the continued cultural shockwave effect Sound of Freedom is having, so let's begin. To start, I want to update you on the performance of this year's most controversial film, as left-wing political outlets put it. Freedom was made for $14 million, and as of the making of this video, it's now grossed $124.7 million worldwide. Not bad for a film the entire entertainment industry refuses to talk about. Now TheGuardian.com has released a hit piece trying to claim that Freedom's success is not only undeserved, but it's fabricated. The article is titled, "Sound of Freedom Passed the $100 million Mark, Who's Really Watching the Movie?" The Guardian's hit piece examines that Freedom's success is bizarre because the film is selling more tickets than there are allegedly people in actual theaters. The film, as The Guardian puts it, is a QAnon religious right-wing conspiracy film that fabricates Hollywood elites and others into a story about children being trafficked to create miracle cures like adrenochrome. Which, in case you're unaware, adrenochrome is made from young human blood and body parts, and it can be used to rejuvenate older people. So, yeah, it's one giant creepy conspiracy about old rich people killing young people to live longer, which sounds about as messed up as it reads. Anyway, The Guardian continues on saying they scouted various theaters playing Sound of Freedom, and said many of their theories based on the tickets sold analytics painted a picture that the entire theater was sold out. But when The Guardian's journalists entered these theaters, many seats were open while they were technically bought and paid for. Apparently, the makers of Sound of Freedom, named Angel Studios, have created a campaign they deem as Pay It Forward. Basically, moviegoers can buy tickets for others that couldn't otherwise afford it or make the premiere. Meaning the movie was getting boatloads of money even if people weren't technically watching it. This strategy has allegedly led to the film getting 20% more revenue than it normally would. The Guardian claims during one viewing they inspected that the film had 28 seats available during a 3 p.m. showing, but they counted 45 vacant seats within the same screening. Regardless of this supposed revelation, Sound of Freedom is officially the 16th highest grossing film of the year so far. What's impressive is that Freedom is outperforming movies like Everything Everywhere All at Once, which made around $100 million and won the Oscar for Best Picture. To really solidify how well it's performing, All at Once's box office was a combined total of domestic and international. Sound of Freedom, as of right now, is not playing overseas, so it made more than the Best Picture winner in domestic alone. Hopefully, Angel Studios can get the film to premiere internationally, and I believe once that inevitable opening happens, Hollywood will fear the exposure of child exploitation as it will run rampant across the world as more people actually see the flick. I'm also really hoping places like Amazon Prime, Google Store, and more will allow the movie to be available via video on demand. But so far that seems very unlikely since those very same companies, along with Disney might I add, all passed on distributing the film due to its content. But seeing the very evident demand this movie has created might eventually cause these corporations to cave in and allow the movie to be rented or bought. Otherwise, it's literally millions of profit being thrown aside in the fight against politics. As of the controversy that Freedom's tickets may be inflated, the reality is that the financial success of a movie is not dictated by people necessarily watching the film, but as always, it's how much it makes. Clearly, if 20% of Freedom's sales are just people buying extra tickets, it doesn't mean the film isn't important. It simply means the film means so much to the audience it's catering to that they're willing to support something they believe in. It also proves that Hollywood is very evidently losing money by the multi-millions by alienating its very real and large demographic of conservative moviegoers. And to really drive the point home, Freedom has outperformed movies like The Flash in terms of domestic box office performance as well. Also, to paint you a picture of how Freedom's performance is not a fluke, here's some films it's beaten in the domestic box office. Freedom has outperformed the likes of Shazam, Evil Dead Rise, Dungeons & Dragons, Megan, Halloween Ends, Woman King, The Northman, Fantastic Beasts 3, and many more. So for a film with this little corporate backing, being able to outperform multiple legacy Hollywood films is truly incredible. There's no way to dance around that. And it's great to see that even though sites like The Guardian are trying to paint the film as nonsense, even they couldn't find many moviegoers they interviewed saying anything but positive things. Some quotes were said. Most of the people The Guardian spoke to said they were moved by the film. Richie Torres, a video producer from Queens, said he had been drawn to the movie due to his Colombian roots. Sound of Freedom was shot in the South American country. The scenes where they take these little girls, you don't want to think about it, Torres said. It is very emotional. A man called Gideon, he declined to give his last name, was similarly moved. I have lots of emotions, he said after the film drew to a close. I knew what it was about coming in, but I wanted to experience it. It's a really strong movie. I hope they make more movies about that. So if you ever see or hear someone say Sound of Freedom is nonsense, I would likely think the person probably should have their hard drive checked. And speaking of weirdos who are denouncing the film, there's of course Hasan Piker, who I will never not enjoy dunking on because the man is an idiot. Anyway, here's a clip of him talking about Sound of Freedom.
It is the fastest growing international crime network that the world has ever seen.
I like that he opens the door and he's sad. He doesn't want the kid to think like, oh yay, I'm trafficking this child. Like, oh no, what did they do to you, my boy? I'm so sad. I'm so sad about the trafficking that has been done to you. I'm gonna reverse traffic now. Angel Studios? Oh, this is so good.
A lot of commenters on Twitter have also pointed out that Hasan's denouncement of the film is very telling, since he has openly talked about visiting brothels in Europe where he engaged in sexual acts. Hasan was quoted on stream saying, "I've gone to a brothel, Artemis, in Berlin and had sex with the workers there. I don't hide it, I don't give a shit, why would I?" But here's the thing, the brothel Hasan named, which is Artemis in Berlin, is one of the largest brothels in that area. It was also raided by 900 police officers back in 2016. The article went on to say, and by the way, this is The Guardian again, which is interesting. Anyway, and I quote, "More than 900 German police, tax and customs investigators have raided Berlin's biggest brothel. Charging is linked to the Hells Angels biker gang and making 6 arrests. They detained the 2 managers of the so-called nude sauna club Artemis and said 4 madames in the raid, in which they encountered 117 sex workers and more than 100 clients, said police and prosecutors. Prostitution is legal in Germany, but police charged that the 4-story brothel complex constituted a brutal and illegal system that severely exploited dependent women. Those detained in the raid were accused of tax fraud and withholding social security contributions, said police, who added that they were also investigating possible human trafficking by the club. Most of the women were from Eastern Europe, Russia, and several countries in the Middle East." End quote. While the owners of Artemis avoided prison in the following years, many suppose that they were simply paying off the right people, and that a lot of the workers here that people like Hasan openly admits to using were likely trafficked. The end of this raid was also recently concluded in a trial where the city of Berlin apologized to the brothel and awarded them with $250,000 in damages. But why would the city send 900 police officers, a literal army of people, to one brothel? Let me know what you think about that in the comments. Anyway, that's why it's no surprise that Hasan's against the Sound of Freedom and finds it to be corny, because he doesn't want more eyes on this subject matter, because he very likely benefits from the very exploitation this film aims to expose. There was also a clip that's gone viral where Trump even had Sound of Freedom's core talent like star Jim Caviezel and director Alejandro Gomez Monteverde beside him as he screened the movie for his audience, and he had some words to say, so watch.
Thank you all very much. That was incredible. Jim, that was unbelievable. What a job. So, our president, it's a possibility. I mean, you made this the hottest movie anywhere in the world, so I think maybe becoming the president of Mexico by comparison, right? So I just want to thank you all. That was unbelievable acting, and Tim, what a job you did. I wouldn't want to do it. Somebody's going to do it, and you did, and you did, and you really did. Great combination, beautiful combination. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. It's something that I'm not sure if you're supposed to enjoy or learn. It's a combination, but that was a great movie. And I now understand why it's doing so well. It's setting records, by the way. It's beating the biggest movies out. They have some of the big summer blockbusters, and this is knocking the socks off of them, so that's pretty good. I'd love to have your potential. What potential? Anybody want to make a movie? Because I think Jim maybe will be available, but maybe not so long. It is an incredible thing that 2 movies, and you've done others, but 2 movies, 2 of the biggest, I guess the 2 biggest independents ever done. And it was an honor getting to know you. And I even agreed to do a podcast for somebody. Who's that somebody? Is that you, Tim? Well, that's the least I can do, and I look forward to doing it. So I hope everybody had a fantastic time. I did. It's an incredible inspiration. And you guys are something very special. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. And come back anytime. Thank you very much.
I know some people are probably going to say, oh no, is Endymion a Trump supporter? And first of all, listen, I don't care who any of you vote for, but I just find it very telling that the only people who seem to care even remotely for the well-being of children all seem to be Republican or conservative. And it just weirds me out that many liberal outlets denounce the film and its existence. Why would anyone not be okay with supporting something that aims to protect children? Why is that problematic? What's wrong with thinking that the exploitation of children is something that needs to change? Why is any of this a hot topic or controversial issue to begin with? That's what weirds me out the most about all of this. It's not that people are criticizing the quality of the film, but that its existence and what it hopes to bring awareness to bothers them. So I ask again, and I would love to hear your thoughts, but why is it that so many left-wing leaning outlets are so angry about Sound of Freedom? Like I said before, I would love to check their hard drives, is all I'm saying. And now, before I show you the trailer for Dream, I figured I'd delve a little bit into this whole Oprah Winfrey resurgence. Basically, a ton of reaction channels and such are freaking out over the media coverage of Sound of Freedom. And because of this newfound spotlight, it's led to old dirt being dug up about other big Hollywood elite personalities, with one of them being Oprah Winfrey. This doesn't surprise me since Oprah has been caught in the past lying about almost everything she claims about with her life. She claims she lived in poverty and had cockroaches as pets, even though her own family combated this narrative and said that she was lying. Then, of course, there's the fact that she was closely associated with people like Harvey Weinstein. And there's many such cases of Oprah willingly offering or referring young Hollywood actresses to Harvey Weinstein. Then, of course, there was the explosive Me Too movement, where reports were exposed that Weinstein had been paying off sexual harassment lawsuits against him for decades. Then, there was Oprah openly endorsing a false Brazilian healer that went by John of God, who was accused by hundreds of women for abuse. One of these victims was Dutch choreographer Zahira Lenik Mois, who said this John of God forced her to perform acts on him in order to receive healing treatment. This John of God would leave public interviews very quickly, saying the accusations affected his ability to perform miracles. John of God, whose real name is, and apologies for pronouncing this, is João Teixeira de Faria. Anyway, he had avoided punishment for years, but recently an article on July 14th, 2023 was able to confirm some good news. It seems John of God, or Faria, has been sentenced to 370 years in prison after over 600 women came forward of accusations. Sabrina Bittencourt, a Brazilian activist whose investigation led to John's arrest, had stated that her organization has spoken to couples on 3 different continents who have claimed that they have bought babies from John for as much as $50,000. In 2018 alone, 300 women came forward, with one of them even Faria's own daughter that openly accused John of God of sexual abuse. It gets even worse since Faria was also exposed for keeping young women as slaves. And he would get these women impregnated, and then he would sell the babies to the highest bidders in his own form of child trafficking. After about 10 years of torment under this John of God, he would then kill these young women as they would not be fit to have babies for him to sell. And he would then replace them, and the cycle would continue. Mind you, he's been doing this since the 1970s. So yeah, this makes me feel sick just thinking about it. And I just want to remind you that until 2010, this John of God psycho was known but not internationally. And it wasn't until Oprah Winfrey dedicated an entire episode to him and his religious feats that it led to his popularity exploding. Oprah has many ties to child trafficking psychopaths, it seems, and it just sickens me. Maybe I'll cover more of her misdeeds in a future video, but for now I'll leave it there because I think that's plenty of darkness for now. Anyway, here's the trailer for that child trafficking film called Dream, so please watch.
You ready, huh? Ready to rumble?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for my advantage, I can see our stores are up on the scoreboard. It looks like they're
Mike, where's Jamie? What do you mean, where's Jamie? I thought she went with you. My little sister went missing. She's been missing for like 30 minutes. Hey, someone needs to get on the intercom and tell them that a girl's been missing. I had a dream last night. I was standing at the gate of this old warehouse. This guy pulls up in a truck. He's staring at me like he wants to kill me. You think God sent you a dream to go break into a warehouse? That's what you're trying to tell me. She could be in there. Someone's in there. I'm not leaving them.
If you want more info, I'll leave links to Dream's socials in the description and pinned comment. Anyway, let me know what you think as always. Thank you for watching, subscribe for more content in the future, and like the video to help the channel out. This was a heavy video, so thanks for being here. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.